sir.
Well, it's Srijan here from Monash University. The other day I was reminded about Yahoo, and every now and then I get emails from people that have Hotmail accounts. And your trends and your plots also showed some companies, a bunch of different companies, and then they eventually get overtaken by one, to go back to your earlier point. So I'm really interested in failures and people and businesses and startups who have failed, and maybe Samantha, how many businesses or startups do you see that come through the door every year, and how many do they actually make it through? And what can we learn from some of those failures? And should they have an exit strategy? I mean, we've got a lot of supporters for winners, people who want to invest in early startups, but who's actually helping those that need to exit at some point and maybe invest in some other markets or new areas, startup within startup if they fail, the whole fail fast model?
I'll let Rick take the exit bit, but I'll take the first bit around failure. So, we have a 50% funding rate, which ensures life for a period beyond that. And chances are, if they can raise their first round, they'll continue to keep raising rounds, and that's data from sort of six years old. Of the companies that fail, a bit over 50% fail because of founder breakup. So it's actually not necessarily an external thing, it's an internal thing. And the fact is that starting a startup is bloody hard and stressful, and a lot of the time those relationships haven't been stress tested to that degree that you might find under an accelerator program, and it just breaks up under pressure. Different vision, incompatible working styles, etc., etc. But I guess the little known thing that from failure is that they don't really fail. Like, they all go on to have much more successful careers than from where they came from. I mean, I just did kind of a bit of a hit list the other day because some other StartMate companies were wanting to hire product managers and other senior leaders, and so they're at Series B kind of now. And just going through the list that heads of engineering at Dropbox, heads of this and that, they all take a massive step up career-wise when they fail in their startup through StartMate, because the skills that you learn trying to build a company, build something out of nothing, is incredibly valuable. And I think as a community, we should all be far less scared of failure because it's a wonderful learning experience.
Well, just before Rick answers the exit question, let me just give you some context. So you were saying, the companies that fail. Well, let me give you some numbers. Tech companies founded since 2000 in the United States, 35,000. Tech companies that received a Series A, 10,000. Number of companies that went public, 220. That's the reality of startup world. That's the reality of high tech. That's the reality of the risk profile of these companies. It's not a straight line. And the funnel is incredibly thin. Those companies that make it through that gauntlet, are pretty well battle tested, they're going to be successful. So in America, they wouldn't call that failure. Honestly, that's what happens. Most of those companies don't, quote, get an exit. They're on to the next thing. And there's an ecosystem that exactly what you were saying is picking those people up and putting them in a new job. And there's recruiters who follow all the companies that, quote, fail so they can place those people in the new ones. So they don't think like that. They really don't. They think about this is the normal process. It's an incredibly tight funnel. And that's just the way it is. Rick?
I'm not sure quite where you want me to go with exits. I would say, if we're talking about exits at the time of failure, there is a time where you have to have the heart-to-heart conversation with a founder. Is this the best thing you're doing with your time? Money, whatever else, there's more of, but there's not more of time in your life, and is it better to go on and do something else? So that's a tough conversation to have, but we definitely have to have that with people. But I'd just really emphasize, Sam, said it well, is that it's almost the best thing you can do is start a business and have, some success and fail in terms of your career right now. Like, it is the best thing on your CV to have been a founder. You meet the best people and you get hired into these roles that are way above anything you could have done before you started. It's a really low risk thing to do now.
Yeah.
And people don't quite understand that for their careers.